You're listening to the Leading Hope Podcast. My name is VJ Williams, here with my friend and pastor Kevin Jack. Thank you for joining us and taking time out of your day. Become a better leader. If you're new, we release a new episode every Wednesday. We would love for you to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Get that automatically downloaded to your device every Wednesday morning. And then also share this with a friend on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And please rate and review on Apple Podcasts. A few extra minutes will absolutely help get this podcast in the hands of so many more leaders just like you, trying to get better like us. Visit leadinghope.online. Get updates, find out more about the Leading Hope community. Today in episode 195, we're going to do something.
Oh, you said 195.
195.
There you go.
Episode 195.
Let's not change it up now.
Yeah, no, not now. God forbid. Episode 195. You're going to do something a little different here. Coming off of this weekend, you talked about the wolf.
Yeah.
And now we're going to talk about the wolf part 2 in a different context.
So this last weekend, I just wanted to bring the conversation that we've been having on the weekends.
Ooh, I'm excited for
into
this.
Like the leadership space.
Yeah.
Because the message itself was about leadership. It was about more spiritual leadership, but it's still about leadership.
Right.
And so the idea that I just wanted to hammer home was, and I hate that the animal that is used is an animal that I have such a hard time saying because I want to call it a wolf. People are like, no, it's a wolf.
Okay.
I don't know if you hear the difference.
No, I missed. There's an L in there.
Yeah, there's an L. I have the hardest time working that L in there. But anyway, so the idea being is that there are apex predators, and what we have found is that apex predators do not merely exist in an ecosystem, but they set the ecosystem.
Yeah.
And this was really seen in Yellowstone when wolves were removed from Yellowstone. And they thought that by doing that, they would allow these other species to thrive. And what they found was that certain species quickly became overpopulated, which eliminated many other species that were meant to live in this ecosystem.
Yeah.
And so they just kind of went through this whole thing and realized, oh my goodness, by messing with the apex predator, what we did is we actually damaged the entire ecosystem, and less things are actually able to flourish because they're not there. And when they reintroduced wolves back into Yellowstone, what happened was all of a sudden things were brought back into balance, and things that had become extinct were able to thrive again, and all these other things were brought back into order, like crazy stuff. Like beavers came back, and because beavers were building again, then all of a sudden the water was able to, and now because beavers were building, the water was able to be cold in certain areas, which allowed different animals and plants to thrive, different fish to be there that had gone extinct in that area.
Is the word apex in this, when you say apex predators, is it used in the context of everything is built off of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, apex meaning like they're the top of the food chain. They have no known predators in that ecosystem.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so that's what it's referring to. But the thing that was startling to me was just the idea that the wolf does not simply exist in the ecosystem, they set it. They are not simply just a part of it.
Yeah.
When they are there, they in essence make it what it is.
Right.
And the realization that for so many of us, what has functionally happened in our lives is we exist in environments.
Yeah.
We adapt to and exist in the environments that are pre-created for us, and our behavior and our thinking and our vision automatically adapts to the environment instead of ourselves being the one who sets it and puts it in place of what it was meant to be.
That's good. Would you say that that needs to be the stance or the demeanor for everyone in the organization, that they need to set the pace or set the? Is that accurate?
Well, I mean, if we could say it I would say sociopaths are unaware of the environment that they exist in.
Okay.
It's not a call to not be a sociopath.
Right.
But it is a call to be a leader.
Okay.
And I think, I know our audience is aware of this, of the leader is not title,
right.
Leader is influence.
Right.
But people will proclaim that and then just adapt.
Got it.
They'll proclaim, yeah, I know leadership is influence, but like they'll never use it and they'll never make anything. One of the things that, and I may have shared this story one time before, years ago, like a decade ago, we had to remove someone from the position that they were in because of ineffectiveness and poor culture and low trust and constant complaints and 1,000 other reasons. And we had gotten voice from their team that they needed to go, like that it was not working how it was. Yeah. And we didn't do it because of that. We had our own reasons for there, but that was confirmation.
Sure.
And so we removed this person from the position. Then I remember we went and met with the team, and I didn't expect the meeting to be good. Just acknowledge that. The meeting was very bad. It was very bad. And I remember I looked at the team at one point in time. There's about 30 people in the room. And I just said, I'm 32 at the time. And I just went, wait, you would agree with me when I said that you do not have a good culture, that you do not trust the leadership that you were under, and that things are not going well. Would you agree with that? Yep. And so why, when we're actually making a move in this position to correct that, and I kind of knew what the answer was. I just wanted them to have to say it.
Right.
I was like, why are you so upset about what is happening? And I remember someone said, better the devil you know walking in than the one that you don't. And I just looked at that person and said, why does there have to be a devil?
Yeah.
Like, why do you have to work for the devil in this scenario? But there was just the sense that they had so adapted to the environment that had been created for them that not only were they not setting it, not only were they not creating it, they didn't even believe it could be better.
Yeah.
And I believe that just exists for the vast majority of people, is we like this idea of leadership, and yet we walk into workplaces that we don't like and we do nothing that will change it. We walk into households that we don't like and we'll do nothing to change it. Like, if I just say is like, if I don't ever blame my kids for how they're behaving, because I am in charge of so much in their life.
Good.
I may not like how they're behaving, but I am in charge of so much. Like, the level of authority I have over my children is extreme.
Yeah.
And so if I don't like how they're behaving, I'm not going to blame them.
Yeah.
I'll clarify to them.
Sure.
I'll tell them where they're wrong, but it's my responsibility to set that environment.
And you're saying the same thing applies within the workplace. The things there that you can't really blame a lot of people for the environment of which you allow to happen on a day in day. And let's just go back to this. We'll answer that in a second. But the other thing is you just look at the animal itself, just because that's what this whole thing is about.
Let's go.
The wolf.
The wolf.
I can't imagine, and we can debate this all day, and go back and forth, but I can't imagine any of us thinking about this. The wolf itself is an animal, a spirit, whatever you want to, you know what I mean? The thing itself is mindset is to get along to go along to get along.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, right? Like,
yeah.
But without it in this environment, the environment didn't thrive.
Yep.
So you can't remove it.
Yep.
And the other environment did have to learn how to live with it.
Yeah.
But we're saying in this context, the wolf is what we really need to try to adapt our thinking towards. Is that?
Yeah. I remember I had early on, I had a conversation with Caleb, worship leader here at Highland Park.
Yeah.
And my statement to him was just, most people this is a year ago, we had this conversation. It was like, most people will adapt to whatever work culture they are placed in. Few will insist on it being the healthiest it could possibly be.
Right.
And that's just, to me, in some sense, that's a sad reality.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that, I discussed another day, someone brought up the illustration of the frog that's placed in boiling water, and when the water slowly turned up, they'll just sit in it.
Yeah.
And like, I think some people accept that as like, oh, I may have done that. I may have been more responsive early on, or compelled early on to do something better, and I've just adapted to it. I think it's actually far worse. I don't even think the water was slowly turned up over time and we didn't notice the difference. We didn't notice how our standards were declining, so we stayed in it. I think we got thrown in boiling hot water And instead of making it better, we chose to just adapt to it.
No,
chose to like people like it sounds better to go like, well, it boils over time. No. You got thrown in scalding hot water.
Yeah.
And you just put up no resistance whatsoever.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that you think there's the habits that people have created that allow them just to be in the boiling water or to just stay there? Like, what are some of the things that people need to identify with early on so that they can, like, I can say, like, to go along to get along isn't going to help you actually be what you're supposed to be. Like,
Yeah.
It's not going to help. So, like, what are the things that they can, I know asking questions is like the number of things, like, how do I identify something? I ask questions to get more information. But, like, what are the other things that people can do to realize, hey, man, I'm not going to succeed in this environment. Success is not going to happen if I just go along to get along. I'm just going to, going back to some of the other episodes, something's always going to be wrong. I'm always going to be frustrated. I'm always going to be bored. This is the apex of those problems.
Yeah.
Go along to get along.
I think one of the, I don't know what all the behaviors are. I think we have two realities that we live in. We either accept the disturbing circumstances that we have been set in, or we try to dominate our way out of it.
Oh, that's good.
And I think the idea that I want to just like hit heavy for people is the sense that like there are some who create the ecosystem. There are some, if we talk like one of the things we were talking through, obviously this weekend, is like spiritually. There are some people that their faith will thrive in a healthy spiritual environment.
Yeah.
And their faith will plummet in an unhealthy one. And so like people typically hear that and they'll go, okay, so what that means is I need to find a healthy spiritual environment. And just would say like, I hear that and I go, I need to create a healthy spiritual environment.
That's what I hear.
Some people go like, you need to find a great workplace culture. Well, what if you created it?
Yeah.
What if you demanded it? And I'm not saying that the reality isn't there, that like you're going to get shoved out of it. But I think there's ways to influence it without accepting the status quo as it is, without dominating everyone around you. And the thing that is just so frustrating to me is I think the vast majority of people have just surrendered that mentality without any fight whatsoever. I'm not saying they got into like the workplace or their home life and tried hard for a year or two. I mean, like what I really believe for most people is that the first sign of resistance, they completely capitulated their values and vision and just accepted what was and now just exist in it.
Yeah, I see it too often where we find ourselves selling ourselves way short of the ability to change anything. Like it's not important what I say or what I do is not going to be seen by the mass. It doesn't need to be seen by the masses. It needs to be seen by one individual that says, I like what that is. I want to do that. And now you've already changed one. And it only starts with one at a time. The other thing is I say this, is just to go back. I think everybody wants to be in a healthy environment.
They want to, yes.
Right. But and they will start to change their routines, patterns, thinkings, all the habits, they'll start that.
Yeah.
But they will flame out real hurry at the sign of adversity. Yeah. Right? As the sign of adversity. Oh, there's another wolf in here. Yep. I'm going to just flake out and I'm going to just go. They go from I want to invoke change to I'm going to just go along because it's there's too much friction and tension here, and I'm going to have to deal with that, and that's going to be hard, and it's going to be whatever, and so I'm not going to continue. I'm just going to fade back in to what it was and go along. Yep. And I think that's where most people find themselves.
Yep. And the only thing that I would just like caution against within this discussion is the obnoxious, inexperienced person who just like walks in and like, well, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And to go like, it's not, my encouragement is not for people to be bulls in china shops. Okay.
No.
Not to just run through there and just try to break absolutely everything. and there's a way to go about it. I think maybe the best scenario to look at, honestly, isn't even more workplace. It's more home life. And to go, there are people who pay mortgages, work jobs, like are responsible for leading, who do not like ever the home that they walk into.
Yeah.
And I just want to go, why? Like, why are you doing that? Why have you accepted that as the reality?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I've always done it the best way, because I'm sure there's 1,000 times that I haven't. But I can't tell you how many times, like, I've called the kids together and just go, this isn't working. And this is what has to change, because I am unwilling to accept this as not working.
That second part is the big thing that you can do. It's not a bull in a, it's a bull in a china shop when you give the front end without the second.
Yeah.
Right? It's okay. You can tell me what's wrong. That's not, it can be helpful. But like the other part of that is, hey, don't just show me what's wrong. And don't show me what's right.
Yeah.
Right? Like I heard someone say this, and not to go back to the spiritual part of this, but like someone was talking about people stop going to churches because churches only talk about what's wrong.
That's good.
That's why they stop going.
Yeah.
Right? All they hear about every week when they go into a church is, going to hell.
Yep.
Your life sucks until you get to heaven. Why are you even here?
Yeah.
All this stuff. And then people are like, I know what this message is going to be this week. It's the same thing. Church. They don't want to come to churches that just talk about the things that don't work. Right? And they want to be put in a place that says, hey, how can I actually be successful? And so going back to this, it's like, don't give up on, I don't want to do cliche, in your dream. Don't give up on the thing God put inside of you to make a difference in this world.
Yeah.
Like, don't give up on that.
Yeah. I'd encourage it this way, to say, like, I think for some people, you need to get a taste of what your life was meant to be like, and then you need to refuse to accept anything other than that. And just the sense of like, hey, whether it's purpose, whether it's belonging, whether it's joy, like talking to a friend recently, they recently switched jobs, and they said, I was like, how was your first meeting? It was great. People were laughing. It's been so long since I've been in a meeting in which people were laughing and they were actually enjoying what was taking place, and just say that's what it's meant to be. And I really believe that. I believe once you get a taste of what your life was meant to be like, you refuse. You should. Yeah. You should refuse to go, I'm unwilling to accept a life that isn't even like, it doesn't have to be that. Yeah. But it has to be leading to that. Yeah. And sometimes I don't know, I'm maybe not the best case example of this, but sometimes I'll hear people say, people I know well, people I'm close to, people I'm not, from other organizations, some even within. And it's like, they don't listen. What's that? Like, what a poor surrender. Yeah. Oh, they don't listen. No one heard me. I was like, well, either it doesn't really matter. Okay. And you might need to acknowledge that it doesn't really matter. Right. And you've got your priorities out of order. Maybe you don't understand the complexity. So let's just give some credibility to leadership. Maybe you don't understand the complexity of what they're dealing with. Or maybe you should make them. Yeah. Or maybe you're talking to the wrong people. Yeah. That's the case. They don't listen. I'll say this. We'll say it again. Yeah. I'll say this, though. And I've said this a few times. It's been a while since I talked about the corporate world that I lived in for 18 years. I could have done that job for the rest of my life, kicking and screaming the entire way, not understanding why I was on this earth. Yeah. And when God changed my life and I claimed, to use our language here, claimed purpose, everything switched. Yeah. And I can't go back now. Yeah. Like, I can't. There's no, well, this just is hard. And it is hard. Yeah. Let's not acknowledge, like, ministry and leading people that aren't paid volunteers. It's really hard because they're here out of the love and the service to God, not me. Yeah. Right? But there's also a mission and vision that we want to help them see that God has uniquely designed us for. That's hard. They don't have to be here. They choose to be here, right? And that's really hard, but I wouldn't give it up for anything, right? And it's like, wherever I go, whether it's at Highland Park Church or
whatever place. It doesn't matter. My purpose will never change. It's going to be finding that one guy who doesn't know Jesus and introducing to him and watching him get baptized and proclaim it and watch his family be led. That's everything. And you won't give that up once you discover it.
The phrase I've heard was like this, that once you've tasted meaning, you are ruined for anything else.
So good. It's exactly right.
I just want to say, like, man, my encouragement to everyone today is to say, like, springing off of what we talked about, to say, like, I really believe that there are people who are called to be the one who sets the ecosystem. Yep. Doesn't just adapt and live in it, but defines what it is. And I believe way too many of us that were meant to actually lead in that way have chosen to simply exist. And that's why our organizations aren't more purposeful. That's why our cultures aren't more healthy. That's why our lives don't feel more alive.
Yeah.
And so do not accept what you were never meant to accept. Be ruined for purpose. Be ruined for meaning.
It's great. Episode 195, The Woof, Part 2. The Woof. Woof. I got to make sure I say that right. Now I'm conscious about that. If you're new to the podcast or haven't yet, subscribe to Mean the World to us if you did that now. Also post about it. Rate and review. Also, just lost everything because now I'm thinking about the wolf. It's there. It's there.
We'd love to hear from you.
We'd love
if you
to
have
hear
a story,
from you, a story of how the
Leading
podcast
Hope community
is working in your life or business. If you have a story, visit leadinghope.online and send that to us. We'd love to hear from you. And remember, everyone has 20 minutes to learn to become a better leader.
Make it count.
It count.